Hi guys, welcome to today's video. We're Journey to Med. I'm Nadine.
And I'm Hazar.
And today's video is going to be on how I got 23 out of 25 in my biology essay in AQA A-level biology.
Before we get started, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you never miss out.
So we're just going to be giving you guys our tips and tricks that we use in order to smash those biology essays that you have to sit at the end of year 13 that they didn't tell you about until January.
Literally.
Like, I didn't know. Okay, maybe that's just me being confused, but I didn't know we had to write an essay until like
end of year 12.
Not end of year. You know, I found that in the beginning of year 13.
That's a bit. That's your biology teacher's fault.
I mean, stop it. No, my biology teacher was great, but I fully found that in the beginning of year 13. And I guess when you think biology essay, you think that you have to become a scientist and do the absolute most. But it is doable, and we're here to help you do just that.
You have a 25-mark biology essay at the end of paper 3,
yeah.
And it's really useful because even though it is about a third of that paper, if you know what you're doing, it's an easy way of getting marks. Definitely. So I think if you follow the tips and tricks in this video, you'll be able to get a high mark in that, and then that will boost up your overall grade, hopefully.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'm going to start off by saying that one of the most important things of a biology essay is that you have to be aware that you have to write about different topics. So they might give you a general question like what is the importance of water, something along those lines, and you can't just restrict it to discussing one topic. There are various topics in biology, and you have to talk about 4 to 5 different topics. Like, they really put emphasis on that. You can't just concentrate on one topic in biology. You'll be restricted to getting a limited amount of marks. So I would definitely say familiar yourself with your specification, because the way in which they number certain topics in your specification is like 2.1.4, 2.1.3. Those are considered as different topics, and you will get the marks if you discuss those things.
It will be quite a broad question, because they're not gonna. It's not gonna be specific where you can't talk about lots of different topics. Just think about your whole biology course and try and think of topics that are not similar, so you can get as many points as possible.
Definitely. And on top of that point as well, I would say that, as I just gave that example, you need to be really smart about how you structure your sentences, because it would determine how everything flows. Like, one of the most important things for me for biology was always writing a rough plan before I actually wrote the actual essay, and I actually used this method in the actual exam. I had to dedicate 10 minutes to writing a really rough plan with bubbles, no matter how messy my writing was, on which topic I wanted to talk about first, and find a very intelligent way to link 2 topics at the same time. For example, if the question was about plants, I was very wise about, is photosynthesis or transpiration going to go first? Is there something that I can do at the end of that paragraph and at the beginning of this paragraph to link the 2 topics together, so that it doesn't look rough?
That's why it's so important to practice planning, because planning is basically 50% of writing an essay. If you've got a really good plan, the essay will be good.
It will bang.
So as long you given 2 questions in the essay, in the exam, pick one and just make a quick plan. So that can be, again, with the diffusion question, you see diffusion, you jot down 4 or 5 points that you know, and then like 2 or 3 points for each paragraph that you want to make sure you mention, and that's it. And even though it might be hard to do that, and even when I was making my first few plans, I had to use my textbook to make sure, like, because I don't really know what to talk about. But the more plans you do, it just pops into your head, and some of the essay questions are similar, so even if it's not the same, like, you can link it. Practice essay plans are so good, and they're really going to help you.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. It is important to practice as much as you can. Obviously, do remember that you have 2 other papers to sit, so don't put all your priorities on paper 3. I would say on top of that as well that, guys, I don't know about you, but for me personally, I forgot some of those, you know, really nice connectives that you can dash in there and link everything together. So have your grammar and everything on point so that you can link your sentences together. Have those really good sentence starters that therefore this means that, hence, thus,
because,
you know, all of that.
Again, like, we don't do essay subjects. For example, if you did like history, it might be easier to write an essay, and in fact the people who get the higher scores tend to be people who usually do essay subjects, just because they're used to writing essays. But someone who hasn't written an essay since GCSE history or GCSE like RE, for example, I was a bit like, okay, what is this? I haven't done this in a while. So that's why, again, it's important to start practicing as soon as you can, maybe like start of year 13, because your first essay is going to be bad. Like, you can't expect it to be good.
beginning of year 13, we tried to learn topics.
We learned so many, like...
I didn't, you did.
Because my teacher was like, you have to. So I learned like 4 things that I could kind of link to a lot of things.
Yeah, but I feel like it's virtually impossible to find something that you can link to every possible question. I did try to learn something that was out of the spec. I tried to learn about microtubules and stuff. However, that is so restricted to a specific subset of questions. So I was like, you know what? The A-level biology content, I already have to focus on paper 1, paper 2, and I have other subjects to revise for.
Other subjects as well.
I'm not doing that. So I was just like, no, I don't have time for that. You know, I need A's and A stars in everything, not just biology. And so what I did on the day was I wrote 4 really fat paragraphs that made sense, of course, and linked, and were really like elicited clearly and everything, without including anything that was outside of my spec, and I was still able to get 23 out of 25.
Some people do their essay first and then do the questions after.
Did you do that?
No,
I didn't do that.
I wouldn't recommend that, simply because I looked at my questions, and so I looked at the question and then came back to the start of the paper and started doing the paper, because as you're answering questions, it can remind you of topics that you can then mention in the essay. So you can be like, oh my gosh, this question is about plants, this links to the question, let me just quickly go note it down. So that's personally what I would recommend, but again, it's up to you.
Also, read the question properly, because there was like this big thing on Twitter at the end of our exam. I can't really go into detail about the question, and it was kind of like people had 2 different interpretations of the question. So I strongly suggest reading the question properly, because they are really smart about the way they word the question.
It was like binding versus bonding. Do practice essays and give them to your biology teachers. I just nag them about marking it, because they know what they're talking about. They've done essays before, like they know what's going on. So I really recommend 4, maybe 5 essays. Make sure your biology teachers mark them and sit through it with them, and make sure they tell you where you went wrong, you know, if you've got a good plan, if the biological topics you're talking about is good enough. Because, for example, one problem I had was I wasn't going into enough detail, because the question always say the importance of, you had to always say what would happen if this certain process didn't happen. And that was something I had to work on, and I wouldn't have known that if my biology teacher didn't mark my essay and tell me that. So yeah, I would really recommend getting your biology teacher to mark them for you.
Yeah, and on top of that, maybe have a separate book for biology essays. So we had a separate book for our biology notes at school, and we also had a separate book for biology essays, and that makes, when it comes to revision, it makes everything so much more easier, because all your essays are in the same place. You're not looking for scrap pieces of paper. You're
in a class of how many people, and if you all do one essay and you find out that you're not really good at this certain essay, whatever, but someone else got 23 out of 25, 24 out of 25, read their essay, see where they went well, because it's so easy to just understand what they're doing and just add it to your own work. So our teachers always set us essays, and then the best one in the classroom, they'll print it out and give it out. If you can't do that with your own teachers, just maybe talk to your classmates and see what they got, and ask them if you can read it and see what they did well and what you can add to your own.
For your biology essay, don't think, okay, I'm gonna do one paper 1 because that's the AS, I'm gonna do one paper 3, and paper 2 I'm just gonna leave that. Like, no, that's not how it works. Paper 3, you need to know, for the biology essay, you need to be 10-10 on top of the whole A-level biology content.
Yeah, because you don't know what they're gonna ask you about.
Yeah, so be familiar with everything, learn everything, don't be picky about what you learn. It's not possible with biology.
Yeah, if your biology essay doesn't go the best, like, you can still get the top grades.
Yeah, definitely.
My one was like mid-mark, maybe like, it wasn't in the 20s, but it was like a 17. But it was 17 out of 25. Fine. That doesn't mean you're not gonna get the good grade. So yeah, don't be like, I don't know what to write about this topic, so I'm just not gonna write at all. Always write something, because you're gonna get a few marks. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and also follow us on Instagram. We'll see you guys next week with another video. Bye.